to the right side. A little smoke. Oh, man, a lot of smoke.
Across there, keeps it off the
Oh, big hit. Oh, my goodness, he is up and over. Top of the racetrack, Roddenberry will go a...
Shoots and crash it up the top end. Flipping down the racetrack. 8:17.3 as a big crash at the top end.
All right, good morning, and we are out here at World Cup Finals. It is day one. Qualifying pass number 1 is coming up here at noon. The track is gonna go hot. It's gonna be all motor and then us. Super excited. So it's gonna be a little different this year. So normally I come and I got my whole little bag of GoPros and all the goods, but this year, just me and my phone. So we're gonna go around. We're gonna check out a bunch of different cars, a bunch of people we know, talk with them, see what you guys think, and see if we can compile a bunch of different videos into one mega monster video, or just bring a bunch of footage back from Mario to have fun with. Well, as you can see, we didn't get to all that. So, and on another note, we kind of took a little bit of the month of October off. You saw we took home best race car at the Honda car show, charity annual Honda car show. And that was super awesome. But out of World Cup, we had definitely the a wild train of events. Blowing the first engine, or spinning, losing the oil pump, breaking the oil pump, and swapping in the spare, swapping the stuff over to the spare, getting the intake manifold gasket, all the stuff we needed, and then cracking that block on our next hit, and scrapping and having to degree the next motor, putting in the third engine, and then them going to the catastrophic failure that you guys all saw in my dad's video. And that was actually the second fire of the weekend, whereas the first block that cracked also lit on fire and just wasn't as bad. He didn't have to use the fire suppression. The car moving was able to put the air out, or the fire out, just by the air and in the speed and everything. So that one wasn't bad. The fire team was definitely, they got right to his car. They were worried. They broke a hood pin trying to get the hood up, and so we had to repair the hood pin while swapping the engine. And then went over a couple things, tried to change up the tune and pull a bunch of power out, and in turn didn't really do what we told it to in a way, and went a PB a mile an hour, 197, and potentially was going to go 200 out the back, but you can't really tell and don't really know. That's the way things look, but you never really know until you do it. So looking back at things, like killer safety stuff. I mean, he had all the stuff. A bigger bottle of fire suppression would have been nice. A little more fire time getting in and out, or 2 bottles, one for inside, one for outside. Just one cable though, so it still goes simultaneously. He was right on the parachute, got out of the car quick. All that stuff we need to have. Like, his gloves are brown and burned now, and definitely something we all need to look at, and having spare gloves and Hans and helmet and all that stuff, being ready, because it's not a if, it's when, and being ready to just get back out there. The car is fixable. We're gonna get it back to the shop and see what it looks like, tear it apart, and cut the weight plate off, whatever, and see where it goes. But it was a huge weekend for front wheel drive all around. I mean, 4 different front wheel drive cars going 200, between 200 to 204, I believe, or 203 maybe. And then the front wheel drive record being broken at 764 is just unreal. I mean, dual parachute territory for sure. All the cars probably should have. All the EFs all around. David going 780s and bettering his PB and bettering the EF world record. And then right behind him, Ishmael going 791, I believe, or 792, I think, one. And at 192 or something. That's just unreal, and setting the CRX world record, and world's fastest and quickest, which is just awesome. Watching that car grow on PSCA and everything, from a 940 car to what it is today, dude, going 7s. I mean, there's plenty of videos back in the day of him and Steven Ishmael, or him and Steven, Mario, Zach, all the guys lining up and racing out the back. He ended last season PSCA going 880s. and then went into the 2024 season, or maybe it's 2023, but I believe the 2024 season out at Bakersfield, going 840 right out the gate, and then 8-1 later in the year with the 6270 Apex Turbo, and just straight from that to the 73.9, and he went 8-2 at FL2K, or 8-3, 8-2 and 8-3, and then 8-2 and 7-9 out at World Cup, and was just flying out there. His program is super dial. He's got a lot of stuff figured out with that chassis and stuff, and it's looking really good. So definitely one to be looking at, and to figure out ideas in chassis wise and spec and trying to get yours set up. I mean, he cuts 1.4s. He's got the EF chassis. Him and David both. They're EF chassis that could. Steven got his wig fab, no lockout B series shifter, so it'll be cool to get that in his car, set up and checked out. We were pitted next to PMAR, who won their class in the event, and we're flying out there with the same stuff that's in Show Enough, and it's just a K series, but same trans stuff, same kind of stuff, and they're the guys that potentially could be making all the stuff. They do all the fiberglass, and they've done it before, and all the work to do doors and everything for all of this, all the chassis, all the stuff. They can do anything that we need. So that's pretty awesome to be pitted next to them. That was, it was great seeing them and checking out their program and stuff with Area 51 out there and stuff. That was super awesome. Catching up with Brian Spiker, and that's what Les Mario's running his Outlaw gear set. We got the Spiker shirt on. Came out. Ah, Jesus. We'll fix you fix that post. It's a post, dude. We're
This
still
is
going.
a PG channel,
We're still going
dude.
through it. All right. Well, we came out. We got the Spiker shirt on. Super awesome catching up, talk with him for a bit.
There was all the shenanigans on Facebook. What are your thoughts on
All my shenanigans.
no, all the shenanigans that were
Yeah,
people were
so-
riled up on Facebook.
I mean,
what's your thoughts on the whole?
my first thought is,
staging
you
games.
you got the faster car, you never go in first. I mean, that's rule number one. You don't go in first, you got the faster car. I know it forces them to go in and gets rid of the tree games, but out at their World Cup, the tree games are where a lot of stuff's won. You got your outgunned. That's kind of your only opportunity, and they will freaking DQ you. They will bust out the torches. So it's like Cleater really was just trying to get in and get the race going, but if he would have waited out, they would have busted out the torches. If Cleater went in and he didn't, in the end, it would have went the way it had to. I mean, but they busted out their clocks, and Cleater was on two-step for 10 seconds in total with the first bulb included and stuff on the track's clocks or whatever off the thing, and then 5.8 or 6.8 is when the light actually went and they were able to go, and he was all in the green. And I mean, sure, you could consider it a burn down. He pretty much used all the real estate he had in times of the timer, but he knew he was outgunned. Cleater had gone 690s earlier in the weekend, and he's 740 was his PB. And I mean, the clutch is hot and things, but Cleater really ultimately let out and gave up halfway through the pass. He high boost left with a 0.7 tree. Cleater was 0.2, half a second out already just from the hole. Even with, I mean, he was on the two-step. He was there. He was out, and he just had to hold it out the back. I mean, even go a 720 with your 690 tune-up, and it could have been possible. And I don't know. It's definitely not something you see later in the night. James plays the tree games himself, and he's shallow staged, and his bulb's flashing, and it's just a part of it. You want to be as shallow as possible to get the best, fastest run up, best pass. I mean, shallow is a better pass, and I mean, if you're a little quicker on that tree, if you get that, I mean, you should be cutting 0.0s in competition out at World Cup for sure, like 0.2 and 0.7, or both of you were sleeping. I mean.
Yeah, I don't think he did it on purpose.
No, I mean, even if he did do it on purpose or not, I mean, it's racing, it's drag racing, it's a part of it. Everyone knows that it's a part of it. Everyone knows 7 seconds, that it's courtesy stage. It's not like he didn't just double bulb or nothing, and Cletus didn't double bulb. They both went into first bulb, and Cletus went in second bulb, 5.8, 6.8, whatever seconds, high boost goes in. And you can see he was trying to go in the whole time, and he was flashing, but he was trying to be shallow, and shallow's quick, shallow's fast, and you got a PB. So, I mean, there was all kinds of crazy wrecks. Kato's wife, world's fastest female in a rotary and in a, you know, like a import. She had a nasty crash. It was, I mean, it got up, it got sideways, it started getting on the big tires, turning, then on two wheels, and rolled. Front end suspension tore off of it. It hit the wall, almost hit the billboards or whatever, the time boards. But it was, whew, it was a scary one. She got out though. Everyone got out. Everyone was okay that wrecked. Thankfully, that's always the most important thing. And there were no T-bones this year, which is always good. T-bones are always the scariest when someone gets in front of another guy and they just double wreck. Ugh. There were some close ones though. There's some good saves. Jason Miller and the crew are definitely not happy with the X front wheel drive class. But I mean, when it comes down to things, after day 2 or day 1 in Street Fighter or something, there was a really nasty wreck. And that wreck ultimately was like a 1 hour to 2 hour cleanup, and that took away one of our qualifiers because we were the last run of the class of the day. They took away our qualifier, which ultimately gave us 3 qualifiers, telling everyone that wasn't in the show we got to go a 7 to get into this thing. And so if some of us like us, we were like, we need to pull power out, we need to go A to B, and in turn it just didn't cooperate. Whereas other guys were like, this is my chance. I need to give it the wood, and I need to get out there and go past. And some of it didn't go well, and we had a rough morning for X front wheel drive on Friday. It was or Saturday morning. Saturday morning was bad. It was rough. That qualifier, we were rushed, first of all. So they call us up. They say X front wheel drive to the lanes. Not even 3 minutes go by. Like, we hooked the smart car up. We're getting ready to go down. They say X front wheel drive, suit up. So we jet down to the lanes, and there's 4 or 5 cars up in the rows, but like 4 of them are on the left lane and 1 of them's in the right lane. And conveniently, we went to the right lane. But we went all the way up to the cone. They kept saying on the intercom, "Please come all the way up to the cone." So we ran around a couple guys that were hiding in the back. We went all the way up to the cone. Jamie was in the smart car pushing, so he hops out. He gets starting to gear up, and it just, the track officials were hot with us. They were yelling at us. They told us we needed to get all the way up because there was only 1 guy in the right lane. And then eventually some guys came up. We were able to push a couple cars in front of us, and Jamie was able to suit up and just, you know, he had forgotten his head sock on the passenger floor because the track official was rushing him. And I mean, the track official did feel bad. He wrote Jamie's card number on his hand, and later on he came over and he's like, "I'm sorry, man. I didn't, like, they were yelling at me at the tower. I wasn't trying to be hot with you, but, you know, it just came off, it came off bad." But in the end, that's the head sock being off is like, I mean, that's a part of Jamie's life. You know, he's lucky he didn't get burns, or he's lucky his visor was down and everything. And that guy's lucky that Jamie didn't get hurt or anything, because he rushed him. And it's his as a track and NHRA safety and everything is, I mean, it falls on the racer, but it also falls on the track to make sure everyone's got their stuff. I mean, they check window nets and stuff, but you got to really like make, you know, he was suiting up and you're rushing him, yelling at him, telling him he's got to get up to the line. And that stuff kind of frustrates and frazzles the racer, who needs to be kind of honed in and dialed in that moment. So we get up to the line. The guy in front of him gets frazzled in his own way too, and fucking because the guy in front of him, something happened. The track, he was in the burnout box. One of the track officials says stop, and then they're checking the track. Another track official says go, and then the other track official says stop again. And then he like drove forward back through the burnout box and back up. And then the one track official told him to come forward again. So he was getting ready to go forward, and then I think the car turned off, and so he went to turn it back on, but instead of turning it back on, he hit the parachute button because he had a CO2 parachute, and it just shot the parachute button right out in the burnout box. Just frazzled. They're just getting, they were frustrated. The racers were getting frustrated, and there was no real good communication, and it just made it all take longer. So then that guy had to get pushed back. Jamie then came up, did his burnout, and got to make his pass, and you all saw how that went. 817 at 192 would have got us in the show, but crashing DQs the run. I mean, I crashed once before at Bandimere Speedway, and it was a qualifying run. They didn't count it on the ladder. They DQ'd me because I hit the wall, and they same is how it goes. Crashing, the car was fixable, so theoretically, if we were able to get it all fixed and get out there for Q4 that we didn't get, or even we were supposed to get 5, but we didn't get Q4 or 5. But that's a whole different story. It's just the extra front-wheel drive curse. We never get all 5 or even close. We had some 11 double B locks available, and it's almost a good thing we didn't use them, because it would have been really rough on all of us to have messed up someone else's wheels or another set of, brand new set of tires and blow up. We used at least, the tires of the blue were at least a used set that we got some good hits on them. And we did qualify. We were the bump spot 817. We did qualify for the show if we didn't hit the wall. So it is pretty cool. Like, nonetheless, being 3 years in a row, technically being fast enough to be qualified in the bump, and maybe not. And we didn't make the show, but we were there and we tried our hardest. We did everything we could. We changed the motor 3 times. We didn't really get out of the pit to get out and interview any of the buds, our friends, Aaron Lopez, all the guys out there racing. There's so many cars out there with the Mar Performance guys, Chupa, Aaron Lopez, like I said, Miles Kerr, the Frog, Sean, he's the driver of the Frog, owner of the Frog. Our boy Kyle, he's pitted next to us. We went over and talked to the guys at Lost Broke, checked out, they were swapping an engine and doing work over there. David NGO, David No, and Ishmael, talked to Ishmael, got a good chat with Ishmael. Just definitely got around and did the thing, went over. Emilio and I tried to get around, do some partying. But it was definitely a different vibe this year. Usually out at World Cup, the music's loud till 2 in the morning and 4 in the morning. The vibes are high. Every pit's partying, but everyone was asleep, man. Emilio and I were the last guys awake most nights. It was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy out there, honestly. It was crickets. And so we drove around a little bit in the golf cart and then crashed out, did our thing, got back up and did it all again. I had to degree the 3rd engine to go in the motor or in the car, and that actually went pretty well. We're getting that stuff pretty dialed, and I think all that is on the PFI Speed. My dad filmed most of that. I saw him film it at least, so hopefully put it in his video. There was just so much. It was a huge event. There's 3 female front-wheel drive import racers in the 7s now. Brianna, Joanna, and Miss PSI all are females in the 7s. I think 2 are B series, 1's K series, or 2K. I don't know. I know Joanna's K series and Miss PSI is B series, but I'm not sure what's in Brianna's car. But it's super cool. I believe it's that pink EG hatchback. So that's pretty crazy. 4 cars into the 200s. The faster Civic with Kevin Ailman driving, breaking the record, 764 at 200, and then 810 at 200 for Wes Pry. Chupa earlier this year going 780 or 790 at 203, and then another car going 200. I believe it was Yarrow going 788 or 7 something at 202. Frog doing the 7.3 in testing today after Kyle breaking his record at with a 754. So now the MR2s are in the 200s. Kyle was trying to go 200 this weekend, and we broke a rocker in the head, so he's going back to home. He's going to regroup, and looks like he might just have to go 6s or something. I don't know. He's definitely going to have to start putting the power to it, because that 73-85 is really pushing right up on his 83-85's territory. So, he's got the turbo to put the steam to it. We'll see what it can do, man. So our buddy Wes Pry took home X-front-wheel drive. Canadians, JF Kelly, I believe, was the 2nd place runner-up there. And then Miles Kerr took home runner-up in stick shift behind Cole I can't even. It's Cole something, man.
Coleslaw,
right? No, the raddest mini truck out there.
Yeah.
The mini truck is nasty. So it looked like, going back on their website and checking out the standings, there was 5 import cars that won it and 5 domestic cars that won it. but there was one import bike to separate the whole thing. So, I mean, imports took it home in the end. What's that to say? If they're flying out there, a lot of the fast classes were taken home by imports. It's pretty impressive what they're doing out there with the 4-cylinder K Series PMAR and stuff, and just everyone that's really pushing the 4-cylinder platforms, the 2JZ platforms, to their limits is super awesome. I mean, we got a lot of plans. We got a lot of stuff going on. Now that we're back home, we're going to be doing a lot more content, cutting, getting the cars ready for next year, trying to plot and plan, figure everything out. World Cup was awesome. Super thankful Jamie was able to get out in the car is in the shape it's in. Makes me want to get all the safety equipment that we can on every one of our cars. Actually, people were wondering if I made a pass in Jamie's car out this last weekend because I had to do some trimming from a Sins job that we had go down, and it was definitely a quite unfortunate events, a series of unfortunate events for sure. The whole weekend was a series of unfortunate events. Next year we'll be back. I don't know if we'll be back with Jamie's car or what program, but we'll be back. We'll be out at World Cup once again every year. We can't not go. It's going to be the 5th through the 9th. I'm pretty pumped up. It was a wild turn of events. I mean, unfortunate turn of events, but it was wild. And I mean, it was pretty cool to see the picture of Aaron's car on the scales, 2630. That's right where mine is, same weight. So it shows that with a couple things, we could be freaking flying. There's definitely some things we need to put on the whiteboard, on the drawing board. We did take most of the month of October off, but doing that has allowed us to set up this room, has allowed us to take care of some things at home and catch up on our own. The shop's looking way cleaner, a lot better. We've been really just trying to dial things in and hone ourselves in. As you see, I'm trimmed up. For the last video you saw, we didn't have this fresh stash here. So, you know, it just takes a little bit of time, and we're getting everything taken care of. All the cars are going to be looking as good as me in no time. So just stay tuned. I'm pumped up. Next year, we're going to be coming out swinging from Mario's car, Steven's car, Jamie's car, the Freedom Civic, the front-wheel drives, the all-wheel drives, even Show Enough. We're taking Show Enough down to Florida. James and Ty, the guys, all of them, we're going to freaking rope them into helping us out. We got to get Show Enough and Leroy on the track. They got to help us get the tire and the suspension and everything. But yeah, so I don't know. Thanks for catching up, tuning in with me. This World Cup was a blast. We'll be there next year. I hope I can sign something, catch up with you maybe. I don't know. I hope we can cross paths and maybe you got something cool that is going to be the next best thing we can try and share with the world and see where we're going. I don't know. Stay tuned. Like, comment, subscribe down below. This is GoofyBuilt, and peace out.